Okay, we're back with you guys. This is the pre-game. AFC Wimbledon taking on Wrexham at Plough Lane, South London. Southwest 18 area, Earlsfield, Merton area. We're going to tell you all about that. Also going to tell you about that story when I was a young lad. I've got that story for you too. We're going to talk about Wimbledon, the team, a little bit of the history, where they come from. We're going to tell you about that walk and that history all in one go. So that's going to come to you too. We're talking about the Dangermen. We're talking about the form, talking about the coaching, talking about the prediction, and we're talking about two pubs nearby. So if you're going to be driving down there or you're driving to the game, there's a couple of pubs that I would recommend are not right on the doorstep of the ground, but they're far enough away to you to have a nice quiet pub lunch, maybe a pint, and then go on to the game. And literally, it's a very direct route from both pubs to the ground, and I thought I'd add that in there for you too. Don't see any major congestion problems like the last few trips to London, but you're going to a nice part of London, actually. If you go as a Wrexham fan, that part of London is a nice part of London, and I'll tell you all about that as we move through. So let's get into this. Firstly, let's catch up with some club news. Now, in the week, we had the great game against Wigan, right? And I was on the edge of my chair. It was fantastic. But start off a little bit of news for the worldwide Wrexham fans that may not have caught this, and you, obviously, as a Wrexham fan, and me as a Wrexham fan, I want to see this again and again and again. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the shootout. There's also some other news in there. You'll find that as we come back from the break. Check this out, starting off with the shootout. Have fun. Luke Young gets it underway. Beautiful finish. Lukey Young. Nice one. Charlie Wyke. Nice finish, Charlie Wyke. Well done, Wigan. Elliot Lee now. Solid again. Elliot Lee, everything he does. Stephen Humphries. Very cool finish. Very cool finish. Yeah. Tom O'Connor strokes it down the middle, nice and safe, but hey, 3-2 at the time. Charlie Hughes now looks a little nervous. Oh, and he did look nervous, and it's way over the top, not even close. Sam Dolby, beautiful in the corner. Coming of age, Sam Dolby. Tilo Asgard looks nervous as hell, and that was not even close. That ball's going to Mars. Look at the face. Oops. Yeah, look at the face. So there you go, Bradford City in the next round. So that'll do nicely again at the Racecourse Ground. And Monday morning, 9 o'clock, August 14th, the white shirts are on sale at the club shop. Get in there. Now, something that is in behind me is a very, very, very old football ground. It's the original Plough Lane where Wimbledon FC used to play. Now, as a kid, I used to go to this ground quite a bit. And my brother actually trialled out for Wimbledon in the early 80s successfully as well. So football's in the family. So he went the Wimbledon way. I went the Port Vale way, remember? And this ground here, yeah, that's Plough Lane. But there's something on the field that you can't see right now. But it is in the video telling you about my trips as a kid in and out of Plough Lane, where the new one is, where the Wimbledon Greyhound track was. All the stories in there. Take a look at this, a little bit of history from mine, but in that area, and it tells you all about Plough Lane. Have fun. 2.5 minutes. Hey, I've been telling you about this story about Wimbledon FC when I was a kid, yeah? So let's get into this. Right now, you're looking down on Southwest 18 London. Shortly, this will all become apparent. Now, that little red dot, that's where I used to live. That was Isis Street. That's Southwest 18, Isis Street. Used to live at number 37. So I used to take a walk down to AFC Wimbledon. That's the path I took. And the old Plough Lane, well, that's where she is, on that blue shaded area. So it was about a 10-minute walk, about maybe a mile. And it was a nice, easy walk, yeah? Then the new Plough Lane is there. So you can see the old and the new Plough Lane are pretty much located close together. Now, taking a look inside the old Plough Lane, that's what it used to look like. I used to love going there. Brilliant times, fantastic times. And I only had one place to be. That was where I would stand, right next to the goal. Because back in the day, Dickie Guy was the goalkeeper, and he was an absolute icon. But a few years later, Wimbledon FC had a few problems, and they went up to MK Dons, much to the sadness of Wimbledon fans. But the ground and everything sort of fell by the wayside. And as you can see, that's not playable, and it kind of everything grew over, and eventually, yep, if you look closely, That is actually a horse on the field having a good old feast on the green. So it fell into a bit of disrepair, not just on the field, but around the stands. And eventually it became housing and a nice park. But the new plough lane is actually inside of or on top of the old Greyhound track. That Greyhound track right there, yes, in the yellow. I used to go there as a kid and watch the Greyhound races. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was really old in there. It was like you were living in the 1700s. It was fantastic, kind of scary for a kid, but it was great, yeah? But if you look a little bit above, you follow plough lane to the left, that blue shaded area, that's the old plough lane. So not so far between the two, yeah? But staying with the new plough lane, it doesn't look so bad in there now, does it, eh? So Wrexham fans, get ready for a nice trip. I tell you, lovely, lovely place to go and watch a game of football. So there's that story I told you I was going to bring you about when I was a young kid going to Wimbledon FC, and I'd go to those games on my own. That's another story. Oh. So there you go. There's my story as when I was a young lad going to Wimbledon FC, which is now AFC Wimbledon. And the original Wimbledon FC moved up to Milton Keynes, didn't they? So it's quite the complicated story if you don't know about it. But if you just keep it like that, real simple, then it tells you exactly what happens. And one of my heroes as a kid was in that video, Dickie Guy. 1973, 74, I believe they played Leeds United and absolute amazing FA Cup games. It was early 70s, probably a little bit later, but it was certainly in the mid-frame of the 70s. But Leeds were the big team, and Wimbledon were a Southern League amateur team. It was fantastic, it really was. But yeah, in that stadium, I spent a lot of good memories. Anyway, and when I was at that stadium, just so you know, that little yellow dot, that's where Stevie used to stand. I always used to stand right on that dot, right next to the goal. I think pretty much because I was amazed with what Dickie Guy did in the shootout saves and the penalty saves and all sorts of saves he made. He was a fantastic goalkeeper, even though he was only quasi an amateur, but he was fantastic. Now, talking about the opponent, let's have a look at Wimbledon's new ground there. You saw that too. But looking at Wimbledon, let's go in depth. Formed 2002, yeah? Former Wimbledon fan club supporters put this club together, basically, and put their team back on the map because, let's face it, they weren't happy when the club was moved. Now, since they've come into the league, 2002, 2009 to 2015, they were League Two, predominantly League Two. From 2015 to 2021, they were League One, and recently then they got relegated. Now, they got relegated, but last year, League Two, they finished 13th. So they know where they are. They're going to play this game pretty easy, but I think that they got a lot of League One remnants and feel about themselves. Last year, they shipped out quite a few players, and they brought a few players in. Most of the players that they brought in have been on loaner deals or apprenticeship deals or academy deals. And one McLean come in. He came in. That's the only guy that they brought in of any stature. We'll get to him pretty soon. The manager, Johnny Jackson. Got to say, 40-year-old Jackson, he hasn't really lit it up as a coach. He was with Charlton before. Here's his record. 27 games. 10 wins, 4 draws, 13 losses. Percentage, the winning percentage, 37%. Not drastically bad. Not exactly what you would say top draw. With AFC Wimbledon, though, get this in. 57 games in now, yes. 16 wins, 19 draws, 22 losses. Winning percentage, 28.1%. If you carry on like that, I don't think he's going to keep that job, do you? I mean, he's not leading the club anywhere, but if you can keep him 13th, that will be a situation where I say he's achieved what he did last year, but he isn't really the man to take this team up. I don't feel that's where we're going. If you think about 28%, think about this. Phil Parkinson. Here's Phil Parkinson's record. 111 games, 71 wins, 24 draws, 16 losses for a winning percentage of 63.96%. That's like one of the big coaches. You know those numbers are, I think, Ferguson, Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho, per se, they were all in the high 60 percentages with a few of their clubs. So, got to say, Phil Parkinson has massive, massive numbers. Pre-season, I got to say, some of the games that they played pre-season, have a listen to this. And in pre-season, they've literally won 4, drew 2. But looking at the games, they played Reading 1-1-0. Pretty fair. Then they played the Metropolitan Police. They won 4-0. Way to go, boys. Then they played Woking away, 0-0. AFC Wimbledon then took QPR, Queen's Park Rangers, on at home, and it was a 1-1. Then Portsmouth came to town. It was a 1-0. And then Wimbledon went on the road to Wealdstone, July 29th, and they win 2-0. Unbeaten in 6 games on the road. So far this season, they're unbeaten. They drew the first game of the season, and they won their EFL Cup game. So they are literally, as I stand right now with the preseason and what's going on right now, 8 games unbeaten. We're going to their place. They can score goals. They've kept quite a few clean sheets. There's no superstars in the lineup. We're going to get to a few, but there's no superstars in the lineup. And like I say, they shipped a heck of a lot of guys out last season at the end of the season, only brought 6 players in. And like I say, most of them were academy or loaner deals, and Juan McLean was the only guy you could say was anything of worthwhile. Now, the form so far, like I say, they're on form. They're going to be tough to beat. Dangermen, I got to say, Omar Bigil, watch out for him up front. Ryan McLean, you've been talking about McLean so far. Ryan McLean, talking about him. Al Hakamadi, watch out for him as well. As far as defence, I'm going to talk about some old heads. You're talking about Alex Pearce, Lee Brown, and Ryan Johnson. Reason why I'm saying that is that this team, again, like a few teams we are going to play in this division, they got a lot of young kids, a lot of teams that are on loan from big clubs, getting them down, they're getting them toughed up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these clubs have got a lot of youngsters. I'm not saying total inexperience, but you've got to have some years on you to get that experience, that game experience. And I think that that could be an advantage on our side when we get the ball, when we actually push it around them. I think that because we've got that experience all over, and we've also got that fitness and the desire and the technical ability, I think we're going to be in for a decent game. I'm not saying hands down we're thrashing anybody, not at all. I'm not saying that. Remember, this is a team that has spent League One over the last few years, and it's now League Two again. So you got to say, got to respect what they've got. They've got a decent academy. Players are coming through, but I'm just saying, looking out for those guys. Those 3 guys, I say, are going to bring experience into a team that hasn't got a lot. I mean, goalkeeping, it's a case of maybe Bus. He's probably going to be the guy who starts. It might not be, but I'm just saying, goalkeeping isn't their problem. And up front, really, they're not going to light it up. But everybody I've said so far, it's like some have got some experience, and those are the guys that are probably like coming to the end of it. And there's not many. There's just a handful. 3 guys I named. They're coming to the end of it. But a lot of these guys don't have a lot of games under their belts. And even the forwards, on average, they're probably like 1 goal in probably 7 games on average. So there's not a lot of thump and walloping. But if they hit the ground running, there is the talent there, especially with Ryan McLean, to put the ball in the back of the net. They only need the 1. That's all they need. And they're pretty tight in defence. So got to say, young team, inexperienced, academy players, a lot of loan players. And Nick Zarneff or Alex Bass is going to be in goal. Both of them, 24, 25 years old. No real age there, but they're coming to this sort of age where they're experienced. So that can help the defence too. So that's what I'm saying there. Prediction on the day, I think we're going to be in for a tight game, tight stadium. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. The surface is going to be playable. I think Wrexham fans, Wrexham players are going to love the surface. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. It's a bit of an interesting situation with all the housing around you. But I say this, for the game itself, I think that we could be in there for a result. As long as we take our proper attitude and we play the ball around and we own it and don't rush it. There's no rush for this one. It could be a lovely away day. Now, a couple of pubs are in the neighbourhood. A couple of pubs for you guys travelling down. One is nicknamed The Fog, and that's the Country House. And the other one is called The Pig and Whistle. Addresses and pictures are right there for you to see right now. Take a look. Both of those pubs I've been in, recognise them very well, close to the ground, and they're not in the hustle-bustle outside the pub. So you can sit there, relaxed, have a pint, have some pub food, whatever you want, and either or are safe to be. Good places. And like I say, that part of London is a very nice part of London. You won't have a problem. Next up is the post-game after the game. We'll see how well we've done. But I got a feeling there's a result to be had there. And I think that it does impress on us right now that you can't start stringing losses together. This is the business start of the season. We've got to get points on the board. And if you want my theory, every quarter of this season, if we're going to be successful at getting into the playoffs or challenging for promotion, we need to be picking up about 20 points on average every quarter of a season. So put that in your mind. That's the target we need to get. Don't need to rush to get it. It's going to take time to get them points. This is a marathon until we get to the end of the season. And just because we lost one game doesn't mean that much right now. We're only 3 points off the top as it stands. See? So we're literally in second place, waiting to start getting the points together. But like I say, we've got to get about 20 points every quarter of the season. Next up after the post-game is the pre-game for Walsall. So if you're going down there, give us a shout. Tell us how you feel. Looking around the ground, what's going on? Down below, make a comment, like, subscribe and like, share it all around like you always do. Drop a comment every game and every show, especially guys, like the video. It means a lot to us. It makes the channel grow, and it also sends the right signals to YouTube that, hey, I think there's somebody out there that likes this stuff. So anyway, you know what I'm saying. Just having a little bit of fun. But if you're going down to the game, be safe. You're in a part of London that's very, very good. Nice part of London. 2 pubs I've recommended. You'll have a great time there. And like I say, if you're going in the ground, let us know what's going on and how many have travelled down there. There's always a good following with this club. But let us know how many people are on the road down to AFC Wimbledon. Have a good time. I really have a good time. I'm going to be having a good time watching this game, and so are worldwide Wrexham fans too. So there it is. That's what I got for you, and I hope you enjoyed the little channels and the little stories and where to go and get a beverage that's near to the game. Have a good one. Back soon. Cheers.